One thing, going back to talking about medications, one thing that I experienced and I had to make some adjustments for was the delay in delivery. So normally, because I've always been getting my medicines mail order, as much as possible. And normally, I know, oh, I could call when I have like a week left and I'm going to get my resupply, and it's just worked really well. And then once some of our restrictions came into place, and I realized I had to adjust my schedule a little bit and call even sooner to allow for the mail. Now, is that a problematic from the reimbursement or the health plan perspective if you need to get your medicines a little earlier than they would typically be refilled?
That shouldn't be a problem. But if you're running into trouble where your medicines are delayed and you have a gap in your care, call your doctor's office because they can call in locally 1 to 2 or 3 days of your medicine to tide you over until your prescription medicines arise. And if you run into any trouble with that, please call our customer service line because that should be able to be taken care of.
Well, thank you. That was a little unplanned for me, but I've adjusted just as we're all adjusting to life with COVID. Kate, are there any final thoughts that you would want to share about what we could really be focused on now, or any questions for me as a person who's experiencing this?
So this has been a really hard time, and you and I have talked about that in the past. And we've talked a lot about focusing on gratitude and maybe finding the things that you can really that you can really sort of hang on to that get you through. And I'm wondering if you can talk a little more about how you've tried to do that, because I think that that's a really important message.
Mm. Well, I really do believe that kind of having an attitude of gratitude at all times is important, just as a life skill, because it helps you appreciate the things that you have right in front of you, and for some reason it makes everything a little bit lighter. It's not always easy to do, and I've had my down days. I mean, I've had some pretty down in the dump days. I think I've called you and talked to you a few times on those down days and just said, I'm really struggling. I have an almost 90-year-old mom, and she lives alone, and she has those down days too. But we check in every day, and we do try to go over, as in our check-in, just simple little things like, what are you making for dinner? Or what happened today that was good? And we've been building some practices in addition to just our daily practice of gratitude and just chit chat. We decided that we would mutually make these lists we call them structure lists. We didn't want to call them to-do lists because we were sort of thinking, you feel guilty if you don't get your to-do list done. At least we do. That's how we are. So we decided we'd call it structure list, because when I'm really down in the dumps, I tend to just want to sit there and look at my phone or read the paper or not really do a whole lot. And so that is a day where I feel like, okay, look at your structure list. And it could just have really simple things on it, like, clean up that little corner of your house that you've been staring at for the last month that's a little bit of a rat's nest, or take a walk. And that is another thing that has been helping me keep myself from slipping into a lot of depressed feelings, just getting outside. And I'm working really hard on embracing the cold.
Yeah, I think we all have to do that. And I think that finding those things, and I like what you're saying about getting out of your chair and just doing a thing. Sometimes I think that it becomes a struggle when we're feeling isolated and it's dark, and it gets dark early and it's dark late in the morning, and it can be a real struggle to get moving. And sometimes just getting up and doing one thing, whether it's putting away the dishes or whether it's, gathering the laundry or emptying a garbage can, just to feel as though you've done something that sometimes can perpetuate and propel you to do the other things that you need to do to feel a little bit better about your day. I do think that doing things makes people feel better. And I think that a sense of progress on something often is very protective against some of the darkness and the bleakness that it's easy to feel because we're feeling so isolated.
Mm. I also find it's really helpful if I get dressed in a, street clothes and not lay around all day in my sweatpants,
Mhm.
which is what I might be inclined to do, but I'm trying to put that structure in my life so that I do have sort of my daytime wardrobe and then my hanging out wardrobe, and I can make those separations because working from home now and being home 24/7. I honestly can't even tell you some days what day of the week it is. So I need to build some of those markers in as well to sort of keep my equilibrium.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I think that people who can do that, who can find the day-to-day things that mark their days, whether it be something that marks your morning, it marks your noon, it marks your night. I think that helps a sense of for a sense of accomplishment through the course of the day, which just makes each day a little bit easier. So thank you so much, Jane.
Thank you, Kate. Any final thoughts before we close?
I think we're good.
All right. Thanks. It was great talking with you. Take care now.